What's up, guys? PowerManiac720 here. I have for you round 2 from Springfield. So my team, this time I led Meowstic and Gardevoir, and I had Malamar and Charizard in the back, and his team was Venusaur, Aromatisse, Sableye, and Garchomp. This is Ricky. Do not remember Ricky's last name. So here's the battle. So his team in team preview, I saw Aromatisse, and I was like, well, this looks like Trick Room. But then I saw the rest of his team, and I'm like, well, this doesn't really look like Trick Room. I mean, he had Venusaur, which isn't really used in Trick Room. He had Garchomp. I think he had Gardevoir. I don't know. He had something else too that was like relatively fast. So it really confused me. I chased Chlorophyll, which of course means nothing. So he withdraws Venusaur, fearing my Psychic, and sends in a Sableye. I go for the Psychic on that spot, of course, and doesn't affect Sableye. And then I go for the Side Shock on that spot, and it doesn't affect Sableye. So perfect turn for him. He loses nothing and sets up Trick Room. So now I start backpedaling because I am in trouble. So I switch out Gardevoir because that's really huge in this matchup against Sableye and against Venusaur. And I send in Charizard. Beautiful shiny Charizard. His what do you call it? Sableye goes for the Fake Out, and he goes for the Moonblast on that spot as well. So a pretty clean turn overall for me, not too bad. He gets the special attack drop, which he's like kind of happy about because he thinks that it matters, but I'm X, so it doesn't matter. And I do Side Shock and get a pretty decent amount of chip damage off. So I Mega Evolve this turn into Mega Charizard X. And I go for a Quick Guard so that he doesn't drop any like Confused Rays or Swaggers on me. He actually went for the Taunt on Meowstic, which I was not expecting. And then he goes for the Thunderbolt on Charizard's spot, which of course isn't very effective because A, it's not stab, B, Aromatisse is not hugely strong in special attack or any attack, and it's also not very effective on me. So I go for the Flare Blitz and it destroys Sableye, thank God. He didn't think it was going to one-hit KO, but luckily it did because Sableye was a problem. So now he sends out his Venusaur. And of course it Mega Evolves into Mega Venusaur as I expected. The only Mega on his team besides, I think, like I said, I had Garchomp and Gardevoir, I think. But I didn't expect either of those to be the Megas. So I go for the Protect because at this point I just have to stall out Trick Room. And then he goes for the Moonblast on my Charizard. I protect myself. Goes for the Sleep Powder on my Meowstic, which I was not expecting, and puts me to sleep, unfortunately. So Meowstic falls asleep, and I'm kind of worried at this point about the battle. So I switch out Charizard because Charizard I need. I send in Malamar because Malamar is kind of bulky. Unfortunately, he goes for the Moonblast on that spot, which is what I was fearing, and picks up an easy KO on Malamar. That was definitely the biggest thing I was worried about, was that KO, or was that Moonblast. He goes for the Sludge Bomb on Meowstic, takes away over half, activates my Citrus Berry, which puts me at a decent amount of HP left, and I believe the Trick Room runs out this turn. Yes, the Trick Room runs out this turn, so I send Charizard back in. I know he's going to set up another Trick Room, so I just need to hope that Flare Blitz can one-hit KO Aromatisse, which would be awesome. So Charizard goes for the Flare Blitz and picks up the KO. Thank God. Charizard, hugest match, picked up 2 really big KOs on a Sableye and Aromatisse, so it did its job in my opinion. He goes for another Sludge Bomb, and it does a lot of damage, brings it down to 9 HP. And he also sends out a Garchomp. So at this point in the match, I'm pretty terrified because I'm choice locked into something. So I have to choose Psychic because I need to get rid of the Venusaur. So I go for Psychic on Venusaur. I'm praying for a wake up this turn from Meowstic. This is the last turn I could have been asleep. Luckily I wake up, get off the Side Shock, and I KO Venusaur. He doesn't know I'm choice locked, so he's expecting an incoming Moonblast, but luckily I have Psychic. So I go for a Psychic on him. And I was debating whether I should go for the Side Shock or the Charm on Garchomp, but I decided I'd rather the chip damage. And I go for the Psychic, does a good amount of damage. He goes for the Earthquake, which I don't even think a crit would KO me. Does just about half. maybe a teeny bit more than half. So then he protects just to stall me out one more turn. But of course, the next turn I just outspeed him, hit him with a psychic, KO him. And luckily that was the match. So that was pretty scary. Definitely escaped by the skin of my teeth in that one. So that was my round 2 match against Ricky. Stay tuned for round 3.